Today we're going to be talking about something really exciting and fun. We're going to talk about social relationships that you'll encounter in high school. This is part of our unit on interpersonal communication skills and also enhancing our social awareness skills. So we're going to define what the different social relationships that you have in general are and what are some common behaviors that you'll likely engage in with those different social groups so that we can be appropriate, make and maintain friends, and just make sure that we're respecting everyone that we come across or encounter. So what in the world are social relationships? Well, social relationships are the ways in which we relate to those in our lives and in our communities. Social relationships include our families, our friends, our romantic partners, coworkers and peers, acquaintances, strangers, etc. So we can think of these relationships like layers of an onion. Okay, and so as you're peeling back those layers of the onion, at the very middle is yourself and the people that you are closest with. And so as you go outwards from the center of the onion, those are people that you're less close with, and therefore the ways that you interact with them and behave are going to change. All right, so we have to adjust how we behave with each group or each layer of that onion. So here's an example. This is from the social circles curriculum. And so if you look in that purple circle in the very middle, that's you. Those are things that you do that don't really involve other people or that other people are not as privileged to participate in. Next is your family, followed by your friends, acquaintances, community helpers, and strangers. So let's talk about family. This one is pretty straightforward, right? Our family is our closest social relation because they're the individuals who live with us. They take care of us and we take care of them. And they're typically people that we're directly related to, though this isn't always the case, right? A lot of us have rich blended families. We might have a foster parent, or we might live with close family friends that we consider family. And so what a family looks like is very different from person to person, and that is totally cool. With our families, we can hug and we can typically get closer than we would other people. And this is often due to things like health needs and dressing needs. And so, as always, it's okay to politely tell family members if you feel like they are invading your personal space. So, for example, in my family, we're all huggers, but I realize that not everyone likes to be hugged. And so, if a relative comes over, some of our relatives rather shake hands than hug, and that's totally fine. So, if you don't want to hug, you can politely decline and say no, thank you, or would you settle for a handshake or a fist bump? And that's a polite way to do it. We want to make sure that we say it respectfully and politely no matter what we say, because we don't want to hurt our family's feelings, right? Friends. Friends are the people who really enrich our lives, especially at the high school level. Your friends almost become like your family. So friends are people that we enjoy spending our time with, and they're people with whom we often share common interests, hobbies, things like that. Friends are people that we are very close with, and we frequently share our innermost thoughts and feelings with them. You might tell your friends things that you wouldn't even tell your family, right? So in high school, it's okay to give friends hugs as long as they consent to hugging. So if you're hugging your friend and they're giving you a weird look, chances are they don't like to be hugged and we need to back off. You can give your friends high fives, fist bumps, etc. But we generally don't get closer than this because we want to respect our friends' personal space. And again, because of COVID-19 times, it's better to not hug, maybe even just to wave in lieu of giving a high five or a fist bump. You can do an elbow bump. And this protects both personal space as well as your own, health and wellness. So friends, they're close with us and we're close with them, but we also keep in mind that we respect their personal space and we don't invade it, especially if they're telling us that they don't like something that we're doing that gets too close to them. All right, so in high school, you might have a romantic partner. This is something different that you probably didn't have in middle school. So romantic partners are people that are very special. We share strong romantic feelings with them. And so we frequently call these people our boyfriends or our girlfriends, and we date them because we like them beyond a simple friendship. Okay. We want to be closer with them physically and emotionally. So romantic partners are different from friends because you are dating these people. And so being someone's boyfriend or girlfriend involves asking them to go out, an agreement between the two of you that you are dating exclusively, that you're not dating anyone else. So just because you like someone doesn't automatically make them your boyfriend or girlfriend. You have to ask them out and they have to agree to it. And so this can be a very, very tricky area of social relationships. And it's one that, you know, if you need help with, you can definitely talk to your teachers and your family members about. They can probably provide you with the best guidance on going about engaging in a romantic relationship with someone and what's appropriate versus not appropriate, right? What's cool versus not cool to do when you're dating someone. So this is just a really brief overview. So in high school, it's common for romantic partners to hold hands, to hug, and to kiss on the cheek or the lips. And so while we care about and are attracted to our romantic partner, meaning that we want to be close with them all the time, right? They make us feel happy and feel good. And so we want to hug them and just be really close to them and likely invade their personal space. But we don't get any closer than this because it's considered inappropriate. Okay. And so in high school, you can actually get in trouble if you are engaging in too much what's called PDA, public displays of affection. So if you are hugging a little too close, if you are kissing a little too intently, in all likelihood, the security officers on campus or your principals or teachers are going to tell you, hey, let's take a few steps back. Let's take a breather from each other. And that's because that's just not what we do in public, especially not in high school, because at high school, our main prerogative is to learn, right? So it's important to talk with your family, as I mentioned earlier, to make sure that they feel you are mature enough to date. And this is because being in a romantic relationship, that's a big responsibility because you're caring for someone else's feelings now. And so we want to make sure that we are in a good place and that the person that we likes us back. And so they share our feelings. It's mutual. It's not platonic. And so yeah, talk to a teacher, talk to a trusted adult before you engage in a romantic relationship. They'll give you some pretty helpful pointers. All right, coworkers and peers. These are people that we work with or we share working environment with. That's for coworkers. And our peers are people of similar age, social status, and situations as us. So for example, in high school, all the other high school students who go to the school, those are your peers. With coworkers and peers, it's polite to wave and say hello. You can make small talk or conversation, ask how they're doing, things like that. And you can discuss similar experiences or thoughts that you may all share. So you can talk about what's going on at work if you're, talking with your coworkers. And with your peers, you can talk about common events that happen on campus. What's for lunch that day? Is there a pep rally coming up? Those are similar experiences that you'll share because you are in the same environment. And so that's cool to engage in conversation with. We typically don't get very close with these people in terms of hugging or handshakes. You just mainly say hello and wave because you encounter these people pretty frequently on a daily basis. Acquaintances are people that we kind of know or that we know by association with others. So think friends of friends. Often we don't know acquaintances very well and we don't interact with them enough frequently to really get to know them better. So they're people who you might recognize or maybe you know their name, but you don't know much outside of that. So with acquaintances, it's polite to say hello and inquire how they're doing. You can wave, you can shake hands, things like that. Lastly, strangers. This one is pretty straightforward, just like family was, right? Strangers are people that we don't know at all. They're people that we do not interact with on a daily basis. So a majority of the people in your community are strangers. They're just people that you don't know. So with strangers, it's polite to smile and you can sometimes wave, But we don't really do more than this because we don't know them and we don't know their intent. We do not go with strangers and we don't really talk to them again outside of saying hello. And we definitely do not meet with strangers in private places. So let's say that you are selling something online and a person agrees to buy it and they said they want to meet up somewhere. I would suggest meeting in a public place like a coffee shop, a mall, a restaurant, somewhere where there are other people to witness and make sure that um, you're not alone, that you're not vulnerable because you're going to this person's house or they're going to yours. That definitely isn't okay just because you don't know them. All right. So we don't meet with strangers in private. We meet with them in public. And in all likelihood, you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. Your family, if anything, can help facilitate the sale or transaction of sale for you.